Okay, so now we have covered our registration and how we verify user after each reload or every time the user comes to our website so that we can keep them logged in. So how are we handling the login? So now that we have handled the complex part, I think it is going to be very easy for you. Let's go to our register page and let's go to our login page. Okay, so this is our login page. I am simply taking two input fields, our email and the password, right? So let's go back to our code and close all of this. So as you can see, I am not committing to GitHub anything. So if you're working on your project, make sure you commit frequently after you implement a feature. So after that, if I come to auth, sorry, not under component, under pages, if I come to auth, and this is our login page, right? So in our login page, we have a simple login form. If I go to my login form, you will again see the design form. It is very simple. This is not the right name for our form. I should name it login form. All right. So we have our onFinish function that is going to be executed when the user clicks on the login button. So we have our name field, our password field, and after that we also have a forgot password button that I'm going to show you in a moment. So after that, when I click on this button, login, this uh, onFinish function is executed. Okay, so what is this onFinish function doing? So this onFinish function is first checking is if the data has values. That means, yeah, you can say object dot values. That means the values of any object will create a array that you can check the length of, and if the length is greater than 1, that means we have data with value. So after that, we are again dispatching another async function that I exposed you explored that we explored earlier, that was verify user, and this time it is do login. Okay, so and it also has parameters. Now arguments, we are sending arguments. So if we go to do's login, you can see this is the same thing with our previous create async function. It has a type name and it is returning a async function. It has a callback function that has our user data, our payload that we are sending as data, this data. And then we have our thank API. We are making a API call with our Axios instance.post, and we are sending our user data, and we give the response. We are setting up as returning the data, which we are going to handle in our Redux store. And if we get any error, we are going to handle reject it with a value. That means we are going to send the message basically as parameter. Okay, so where am I handling this do login lifecycle? Let's search it here. Okay, let's go to our auth slice. So when I come to our extended users, I am building a case add case, which is do login.pending. And when it is in the pending state, I'm simply setting the state to is loading. And if the do login function is fulfilled, we are setting our loading to false or is authenticated to true and is success to true, and we are also setting up a message user logged in successfully. You can add multiple states, other states, if you want to handle it, and you do not also need all of these states. Each success is message if you want to handle it in your code, not from Redux. And we are also setting another case for our rejected state. So make sure you handled the full life cycle, the pending state, the fulfilled state, and the rejected state. And inside the rejected state as action.payload, what am I getting? I am getting the message that I'm sending from here. Okay, not the right file. Okay. So I'm setting the is authenticated to false and success to false, and setting up the message that the user fails to log in if I do not send any parameter with our function, and the error is true. Okay, so this is simply what this do login function is doing. It is making the API call and verifying the user, but from our async action. So you can see by creating our async function, we do not have to make our API calls in our code. Our code gets simpler. We can handle the data in multiple files and multiple places, whatever we want. We have so much transparency in our code. and it is if you it is the learning curve might be steep, but if you start to use the async thank and Redux together, you will understand the benefits. So the first time you might feel like the making an API call and actions might be easier, but uh, depending on your project, creating an async thank might be very useful for you. Okay, so in our login page, what happens if I click on login? You know what will happen. I explored you earlier. I showed you earlier. So this do login function is called, right? So after that, we can use the dot notation, the dot catch and dot then chaining method. So inside the results, we can say that do login dot fulfill. That means if the do login is fulfilled state, okay, the do login async functions fulfilled state matches the result we got from this API call. Okay, these do login functions fulfilled state matches the result. That means we got the result, and what we got as result matches the fulfilled state. Okay, then we get the token from our API, that results.payload.token. We are setting up it as our cookies. Like simply after we did with registration, it is the same thing. We are setting a notification that welcome, your login was successful, and we are also dispatching this verify user function. You can see this verify user function. So as you can see, I have dispatched this verify user function from multiple places, from our store provider, which will render when our homepage renders, and also I have when the user logs in. So this is very useful. If you did not keyword async thank, you could actually make a utility function, but this is the creating an async thank is more useful. So we can call it from multiple places, and it will handle all the states and everything. So creating a async thank function or setting up a reducer might be stressful, but when you are set up and you get going, you actually start to see the benefits. So after that, we can simply call the verify user, and our verify user function will call the verify the user and set up our store accordingly. And after a 1 second timeout, we are sending the user to our profile route. And if the do login dot rejected state matches the result, that means the API call was unsuccessful. We are setting up a notification function that with error, and the message that we get from our backend. And after that, if we catch any error, we are just simply console logging our error. So this is our login page. So now that we understand how we are going to make async thank, it is a repetitive process. We are going to use it in multiple pages and multiple functionalities. And after practicing it more and more, you will get used to it, and eventually it will get easier for you. So I'm saying it again, the first time using these technologies might be stressful. So bear with it, and you are going to eventually get used to it. All right. Okay.